Hello everybody, welcome back to a new video. Today is going to be a Q&A video. Many of you have been sending me a lot of questions, so I thought that after this time off, from which I come really rested, energized and ready to be back to work, I'm going to divide the video in different categories, so if you want to skip one section or the other, you can do it. I'm going to answer personal questions, professional and financial questions, product-related questions, and future plans. Before I start answering your questions, I thought that I will put you in context of what has been going on. I will start by explaining how did we come up with the idea of building our house here in Portugal, which is something that many of you have been asking. We started visiting Portugal because we work with a shoe factory in São João de Madeira in the north. We love it. We loved the owner of the factory, the food, the people, and then eventually when we decided to pause our company, this was right before COVID, we decided that maybe we had to start looking for something else in life, and that's when we came with the idea of buying a camper van. Because Portugal and Spain is really close, we wanted to explore more of Portugal. In the process of building the camper van, because our company, our fashion company, wasn't working as we were expecting, we thought maybe we can buy and build camper vans and sell it to others, but COVID happened and we decided, okay, forget about that idea, let's find an alternative. I think it kind of gave us perspective about the things that are important in life. Up until that point, we were focused on just work. We still didn't find that we had the financial position of buying a house without asking for a loan, which I doubt we would have gotten because we don't have regular jobs with a regular salary every month. And we thought of the idea of maybe buying something small that we could fix quickly and maybe rent it half a year, and then the other half a year live in the camper van while we were traveling across Portugal or Europe. Lockdown happened, and when borders were open between Spain and Portugal, we started looking for properties, and we didn't find anything that was fixable. A lot of stuff that was even in super bad conditions and quite pricey were sold because people was buying without even visiting the properties. Going from one place to another, this was the place that we found, basically. But it is really hilly. And then when we try to put the project in the land, leaving the margins on each side of the road and the property lines and etc., the only option for us was to build this long building. During this year and a half, we have been building the foundation, all the pipes for the ground floor, the pipes for the bathroom, and the finished floor. So if you look at it from that side, it might look like, to the untrained eye, it wasn't that much progress. If you want to build something properly that will last for many years and is well done, meaning you won't have humidity issues coming from the soil all the way up, that takes time. The thing is that if we were not in the system, like in the system that says, no, these are the rules, you have to build in 2 years, then if not, you have to renew it, we didn't care if we finished the house in 2 years or in 6 years, because what's the rush? Honestly, yes, we are living in this tiny space, it might become uncomfortable sometimes, but at least we had a shelter, a place that covers us, a place where we can sleep. Luckily, we know that it is fine. If the permit gets expired, it's all about paying fees. So as long as you pay to extend the project, is completely fine. So now that's all done. I'm going to start answering the personal questions first. Are you selling up and going somewhere else, or just taking time off from YouTube? We are not quitters, even if I will say, okay, I will quit this for a while, but for a while, I'm not quitting. We bought this land, this is our property, it's our home, and it's the place that we are going to nurture for the following years. This will be always home. So no, we are not selling the property because we got stressed out because of the building permit, or because we were tired and it was hot and Lolita got sick. No. Another question is, how far is the new house to the new garden? Could you maybe show us an aerial view of the distance? Our property is half an hectare, so on a hill, but it's not super far. It's farther than just opening the doors of the cabin and having your garden in front of it. Our land is divided in two parts by a road. The cabin with the garden is in the top part, and then the house with the new garden is in the down part. The garden is in the further part of all. You have to walk a lot on a hill and it's super hilly. The next question is, how do you build resilience to frustration? As practical tools and methods you are using. Frustration is a feeling. Don't let those feelings own you. If you wake up one day feeling frustrated or sad, anxious for something, it's just a feeling. Still wake up, put your workout clothes, wash your face, take a shower and go outside, walk, do something that even if you feel like you don't want to do it, and then you will say, okay, now I'm ready to start my day, and then you will eventually develop that resilience. I will say I'm a dreamer, but when it comes to work, I focus in the now, what are the steps I need to take to get there and to get it done and finish. And that's how you build resilience. You also build tolerance, meaning you cannot pretend to take a baby and tell him, okay, now run a marathon. This baby will need to go through all these steps to crawl, eventually stand up and fall, and start taking one step in front of the other, develop muscle strength, all of this. Take that as an example, like maybe at the beginning when we got in the middle of the sun, we would last 30 minutes. But then the next day you show up and then you last 32 minutes. And then 3 years later you can work 8 hours. So it's all about that. Do you ever feel a need for more community social life where you live? Or are you content as things are? I think it's nice to have a community. Like when we were in Santa Monica, we had a big group of friends. Maybe we didn't hang out all together all the time, but it was nice to have people just in case something happened and you needed someone. But if you don't want to get stuck in one place because you feel like life is taking you to other paths, you have to say, okay, I need to detach from the community that I might be having now, but it's time for me to grow, to move on and do something else. I feel that sometimes in order to move forward you have to quit some other things, and in this case for us to find ourselves in this situation we had to say goodbye to people many times. When I leave a place and I leave behind friends and people, I don't feel like I'm leaving them behind forever. Being happy and content with yourself is all that matters. You are more than enough to do anything you want. If you have help of others, that's amazing. I actually believe that we are never 100% alone. That's more spiritual, but I have been able to be here today and succeed in many things in my life because I had people in my life that in one stage or the other show up to make that process easier. The core belief here is to know that you are more than enough. you don't need a community to do your things. If you have it, that's a plus. How did I know which place to choose? I have the belief that the universe, life, somehow guide us through the places and situations where we need to be at certain moments. We were looking for places where we thought, where is the closest to the ocean with a surf spot that we can do this. We ended up finding this. It wasn't in front of the ocean or in front of a surf spot, but we are not that far from the beach. We are around 40 minutes. We went to one place, visited, knew it wasn't, went to the other, went to see one in one town that knew we didn't like it. But Pepe said, let's go and see if this thing takes you to the next one. So we did it. We came here, we saw the land. The land was divided into, it was super complicated to build. That's how it happened. We went to one place, the other. We found many things that we said, no way, we are going to live there. And eventually, one thing takes you to the other, and here we are. Can you talk a little bit about what your daily life was like before you decided to live this beautiful way of life? I actually lived a really nice life before this as well. When I lived in Santa Monica, I really like it there. I love it. It really felt that California was home to me. But because Pepe wanted to leave his job and we work with factories in Europe, it didn't make sense for us to stay in the States anymore. It was more expensive to live, and then we will have to travel often to the factories while things were producing. We decided to move even though we love it there, and that decision moved us back to Spain. We moved to Conil, which is a little town in Cadiz. I'm from Cadiz. I used to go to Conil a lot when I was a kid. I loved it. I knew that there was going to be surf nearby. We met really nice people. We moved to other place, which was Novo Santipetri. We needed a bigger space, and we were in a tiny apartment because we kept the production at home. Here we were in individual homes with a backyard. It was really nice. We ended up meeting like-minded people, and we often joke like we were the misfits of society all living there. But again, we were renting a place, but we could have never have the possibility to buy a house there. We eventually left the rental because we realized that we will post the company just to save money. We finished the camper van and moved to Portugal. Pretty similar lifestyle, just a bit more maybe taken to the extreme. When you travel or leave the homestead for many days, who takes care of Lolita and Aspen? There is a family like an hour far from here. They take care of pets, and Lolita cannot be inside their home because she could escape, and there are dogs around it, so she has her own building room. We call that like her retreat center. She has her window and then her outdoor area, and they take care of her really well. And then Aspen is able to be with other dogs, so I'm really happy that we had that option. What is about your lifestyle choices that have made your family disapprove of? Might all comes down to projection of their own insecurities. This means that when we moved to the States, the complaining was, why are you leaving? You are leaving us behind, and you are too far, and you are abandoning me. And then when we were there, we eventually started our company, and it was about that you are an architect and you are a doctor, and now you are selling handbags. Why are you doing that? I guess it's all about status, and we didn't care about the status. It was like what makes us happy. Like when the company was going well, the problem was that we were not working as architect and doctor. Then deciding to close that and move here was the same. It's more like, but are you going to live in the countryside like a low life person with your chickens and And literally, these are the things that we had to listen. So I think that eventually you realize that you are not the problem. If they don't love you unconditionally, it's not because it's something wrong with you, it's because they are not able to see who you really are. It's not on you to change anything so they can love you, because if they tell you that they don't love you about something, which it was what happened, then you change your decision and then the excuse now is something else. So you will be always chasing get their approval and you will never get it. So that's basically the reality. Is nothing in particular, it's just that they were never good enough in the eyes of their own family, so they are carrying that trauma with them and they are projecting the same things in you, basically. Why do you speak English if you're Spanish? I speak English even if I'm Spanish because English have gave me the possibility of being here today, of starting my own business worldwide, of being able to sell my online products through my webpage worldwide. I believe that when two people want to understand each other, even if they don't speak the same language, they will. So basically the short answer is not about language, accent or anything, it's about wanting to understand each other, and if we don't want to understand each other, it didn't really matter. The excuse is not the language, it's about the willing. Next section, professional and financial. Is there a reason that more traditional and eco-building methods and materials haven't been used on the new home so far, or is that coming up? No judgment, just curious, as your gardening methods are so natural, I was expecting your home to echo that. I'm not the technical person here. There are a lot of eco-building materials, but the most eco-friendly thing that you can do is to build one house that is going to last for many years. That might mean using materials like the black paper bearer plastic. If you don't put that in the floor before putting the foundation, humidity can go up. So if I actually want to live in a house that's healthy to live, I don't want to have mold in it, I will have to use the plastic barrier. Stuff like isolation and things like that, we see being eco-friendly in a way of being self-sufficient. The isolation material is again same, is 100% recyclable, even if it's not organic, but it wouldn't make any sense for us to use wool as isolation if the wool could eventually rotten in the walls and then create a problem in the future. So we'd rather use a material that won't rotten and will stay there forever. The way that we see being eco-friendly is how can we build this properly that keep us cool during summer and warm during winter without overexpending in extra energies, being from electrical companies or from gas company. That means that if we isolate the house well enough to keep it cool during summer and warm during winter, that for us is being as eco-friendly as possible, because we will use the solar energy, which is already available, to heat or cool down our own house without having to use external resources for that. For once that we move into the finish of the house, doors, kitchen, things like that, we will use natural materials, of course, paint without gases and with natural materials as much as we can. But in terms of like the core of the materials to build, I think the best that you can do is to actually use a material that will last for many years and have a house that actually won't make you sick from having mold, which has happened to us in houses that we have been living in? That's the answer to that question. I'm wondering, given what you know now about the process of building your own home and becoming self-sufficient, is there anything you will do differently or plan to do differently moving forward? Everything that we have done up until now, we will have done it again. Maybe the project will change a little bit and the building wouldn't have been maybe that long, just because of what I told you, that we designed that project thinking that we will open like a small boutique hotel, and part of those square meters were dedicated for the hotel. And along the process of the project approval and starting the build, YouTube happened and we opened our small online business. And now that idea will switch, but being completely honest, when you live in the countryside, you need to have a storage space and cover spaces for all the works that we do. So having that extra room that we have in the house, which is like a big room separate from our house, is actually amazing to have. Will you ever consider welcoming volunteers to help you and Pepe with the garden and other tasks you need help with? For the bill, no, we can't legally, because people need to be hired and have insurance and all this bureaucracy and part of the system. For the garden, the thing is that when you host people, which by the way, thank you so much, because many of you have offered help, we will need to be hosting, I know this probably has to do with us. If someone comes here for 2 days, I want this person to feel at home, welcome. Okay, what do you drink? This type of milk? Do you eat this? Do you have intolerance? So it ended up being more work to me than the work to actually receive the help. It doesn't compensate that. I know this is me. If I'm able to release that control of making the person comfortable here and having everything organized, prepared, to make sure that they are good and have everything they want, maybe that will be the day that I can welcome people. But for now it's like, okay, I don't have time to be hosting people all the time. What kind of financial investment does it take to buy land, develop an off-grid garden and tiny home, build a big home? This house, the tiny house, we spent 5,000 euros. I would say even a little bit less. The solar panel system, at that time it was a bit more expensive than now, but around 3,500 euros. And the garden, honestly, we almost didn't spend any money. To build it, to what actually we built in this part of the land, 10,000 euros. And then you are set with this. Building the workshop maybe was 3,000 euros. So with 15,000 euros, you are set. The house is a completely different story because the scale is bigger, and we knew when we built this tiny house that this was going to be a temporal home. In the house, we want to build a house using the best material, even if we have to spend a little bit more, because at the end of the day, the difference in price is not that big, but the difference in quality it is. The prices for the house I cannot even say right now, but we are not spending actually that much, because most part of the build is done by us, and the most expensive thing I would say is labor. And then land, for example, there are all sort of ranges for prices of land. You can find land for 10,000 euros up to 1 million, 2, 3, 4 million euros. So depends where you are looking, depends of your flexibility. It all comes down to design and choices. Can you speak Portuguese fluently or just enough to get by? It is difficult to learn. Can you speak Portuguese fluently? Absolutely not. I speak Portuñol, which is a mixture of Portuguese and Spanish, but we understand each other properly. I understand much better that I can express myself, and the reason why is all because of practice. Speaking Spanish, of course, helps because a lot of words are similar, and I will say that speaking English also helped because you become more flexible. Now I'm going to move to the product category. Questions that you have asked about things that I have that you would like to know. If your workshop works well for you as a greenhouse, which panel did you use? Is there enough light inside for the seedlings? The workshop works pretty well as a greenhouse. Originally, we chose some corrugated planners that were transparent, but when we placed the order online through email, we chose one that we thought by the description was this transparent one, and when we arrived to the factory, it was these white ones that leave light to go in, but 40% of light, which is good for the seedlings. And I'm really glad that we did, because the workshop wasn't going to be only a greenhouse, it was going to be a space to work inside. Knowing that we have a lot of light here, I'm happy that we didn't go for the transparent one, because it would have me to wear sunglasses inside. Do you miss something living in a tiny house, or is it enough? You are a bit limited because this is 8 square meters. If I didn't have the chance to build the big house, I think this is really comfortable and more than enough to live in. How have you funded all of these efforts, dreams you have been chasing? Because we saved money. How we did it was to save everything that we could since the day that we started working, once that we left university. We have always tried not to have anything on credit cards. We don't have debt. Our idea from the beginning has been always, if you don't have the cash, don't spend it. And we always made sure to have savings for at least 1 or 2 years to try something that we thought it was the right decision. We did it, the company grew, and we kept saving. We have been able to start this project because of those savings, and then eventually starting with our YouTube channels and starting our own online business again.
Which, with the help of Squarespace, these videos are possible. It was 10 years ago when I decided to launch my online store and start selling my own creations to the world. And thanks to their professionally curated layout and styling options, I have been able to build my own online presence tailored to my brand and small business. If you have been thinking about creating a website to showcase your work, Squarespace is a great place to start. With their fluid engine, you can easily customize every detail of your website with the drag and drop technology, either for desktop or mobile. Their service offers many different features, such as blogging tools, e-commerce, mailing list, member areas, and even client invoicing. I believe we are living in a time where we all have the chance to put our time and effort into something we are passionate about, and Squarespace offers the tools for a future where everyone can be an entrepreneur. If you are interested in effortlessly creating your own blog or website, go to squarespace.com/Eugenia Diaz for a free trial and a 10% off your first order of a website or domain.
Someone is asking me, where do I buy my seeds? The seeds that I have gotten lately are from Cocopelli. It's a French company. They are organic. They have a lot of heirloom varieties from all over the world, and I have been loving the variety of seeds that they have. Another question is about the electrolytes and magnesium brand that I use. The magnesium brand is this one, and then the electrolytes is this brand. Is Sun Warrior Active Hydration. They have 2 flavors. To be honest, like with this climate, you need to replenish electrolytes with this, because when you are working outside, you sweat a lot. I don't know if some of you have experienced the sensation of drinking water, continue drinking, and then feeling like there is no amount of water that it's going to take away this thirsty sensation, and that's when you feel dehydrated because you don't have electrolytes. What kind of kettle do you use? I guess it's the tea kettle. The tea kettle is from a Scandinavian brand that now it's called Audo, Copenhagen. If it's the kettlebells that I use for exercising, it's from Decathlon. That's the only place that I have found kettlebells. Where do you get your linen skirts, pants, tops? I have made closet videos about it. For basic t-shirts and tanks, I usually get it either in Cost, Massimo Dutti, or Arket. Another question that I get often: how do you clean your white clothes, silk and cashmere? I was surprised because some people have difficulties cleaning silk or wool or cashmere products. For cashmere and wool products, I have this machine. Basically shaves all the balls that your cashmere or your wool sweater have, and then I put them in the washing machine. If I'm too scared, I wash them by hand with this delicate soap, which I usually use the brand Ecover. Another question is about the grass cutting machine that I have, if it's plastic thread or metal blade. We bought the basic one from steel, and this one has both options. You actually change the head of it. It has plastic, the plastic thread, and then it has a metal blade. The metal one, I realized that time that I used it that we have to sharpen it because it wasn't cutting anything. That one is really good for when you trim like woody stems, but for grass, like for the soft grass, the best one is the cord. If I went back, I would have bought not the basic one, just one a little bit more expensive. This one feels a bit too basic. When you use the plastic cord, now we have to buy a thicker one because sometimes it breaks super easy when it hits wood or concrete or things like that. The thick one sometimes gets stuck inside the machine. We would have had one that it's a bit more expensive and better, will have hold better this thick cord. And now moving into the last category, future plans. What about quitting YouTube? Do you see yourself doing this your entire life? Of course not. I have thought about it a lot of times. I feel that life has put me in this situation. I'm doing this now, but I'm not too attached to it. I know that whatever happens or comes is going to be for the better, and life will guide me through what's next. I already have some plans of things that I would like to make that doesn't imply YouTube, but for now, the plans that I have will be continuing doing these videos. I'm enjoying it very much. What you and Pepe do for fun? What do we do for fun? A lot of stuff. We live life. Life should be the fun part. Like when the stress of these past months have hit us, we realize life is meant to be lived. Our purpose is not to be rushing to build this house the fastest. We want our lives to feel like this is the fun part. I'm not here doing this from 9 to 5, which I hate, and then I have to find an escape from it. We want this 9 to 5 thing to be the things that we like and that we enjoy to do. So I pretty much enjoy most of it. Besides that, we exercise, we read, we surf when we can. We haven't surfed much since last summer. We have resuming skiing, which it was something that we didn't do for many years. India, of 13 years old, is asking me about having children, or in this life is it possible? maybe we could have kids. I love kids. It was just that up until now it wasn't even in the plans because it wasn't an option. Only now that I'm seeing that the house is moving forward and I don't have to be there all the time is a possibility. Lastly, about the hair routine, many questions about my hair, why I never wear it like this. This is my natural hair actually. Why I don't wear it down most of the time is because I'm super uncomfortable having my hair all in my face. Can you imagine like sweating, cooking with all my hair on top of it, working in the garden with all the dirt? So now that I'm laying down, and I went yesterday to the beach, and after going to the beach, even if I take a shower, my curls comes more like natural. My routine is basically nothing. I wash my hair every day because I have done it since I'm a kid, and I use natural oils on my hair. The one that I use is from Rocker Studio. It's an oil that you can use for your face, body and hair, and I use it for my hair because it works really well. Most of the time I just wear it up because it's much more comfortable. Pepe was telling me that he loves my hair just as it is right now. I actually like it flattened because that's how we are. Like if we have curly hair, we like it flattened. If people has flat hair, they like it curly. But I think I answered most of your questions. I will try to make it as short and easy to watch as possible. There was a lot of questions, and like I said, if I would have loved to talk to you guys in person because I love talking, I love hearing stories from you. Unfortunately, right now that's how it has to be, through the camera and through the comment section. But thank you so much for watching. I will come back next week with a normal video.